Hello, good morning all. Today in this video we are going to discuss regarding how to configure Odoo16 with Pycharm for the development. So currently in the screen I'm using Ubuntu 18.04 and where I'll install Odoo, which will be configured with Pycharm for local development. So the commonly used development environment for Odoo is Pycharm IDE, which is free, that is Pycharm Community Edition. So in this video we will be downloading the Pycharm Community Edition as well as Odoo16 source code from GitHub, and we will show you how to configure Odoo with Pycharm and how you can start the development in Odoo. So currently I have opened Odoo GitHub in my screen. You can see the URL. It's github.com/odoo/odoo. So here we have the Odoo source code, and currently the default branch is 15. So as we need Odoo 16, we have to switch the branch to 16.0. So I'll select the 16.0 from here, and you can see this is the Odoo 16 source code. So first of all we have to download it from here. So if you already have the knowledge of Git, you can just clone this source code using the Git command, or you can manually download it using from this button code, and you can click on download zip. So you can just download it from here by clicking this button and extract. So as I'm familiar with the commands, I'll try to do it using the git command. So we will copy this link and we will go to this folder, home folder, and what we will do is that here I have already created a folder called Odoo16, which I'll delete now. So this is my home folder of my system. So what I'll do is that I'll create, or I will not do anything now, just we will keep here. So currently we have just opened Odoo16 source code here, and what we have to do, we have to download the Pycharm Community Edition. So if you haven't downloaded or installed the Pycharm Community Edition, you can just download it from this JetBrains website. You can see the URL. So don't worry about this URL. I'll be adding these links in the video description section, and you can get it from there. So just come to this jetbrains.com/Pycharm download, and you can download the Community Edition. So to run the professional edition, we need a subscription or a license key, but you can more than enough. Pycharm Community is more than enough to develop Odoo application. So by clicking here, you can download the Pycharm Community. Or if you are using Ubuntu, you can go to Ubuntu software store and you can search for Pycharm here, which will install the Pycharm Community. You can use this method, or you can manually download from this website. So once you download from this website, the thing that you have to take care is, once you download, you will be getting a zip folder. You have to extract that folder. Once you extract, just go inside the folder, then you will see a file called bin, a folder called bin. Open that, and here you will have a pycharm.sh file. So from this file, so once you reach this folder, just open the terminal and you can run the Pycharm as follows: /pycharm.sh, and if you click on enter, you will see the Pycharm will be getting opened. So I think the enter, you can see it's already running. So here let me close this Pycharm which I have opened, and if you run like this, the Pycharm will be getting opened. So just download the Pycharm Community, go to the bin folder /pycharm.sh, which will open the Pycharm. So just imagine we have successfully downloaded. So because I'm not explaining this, because I already have downloaded and installed the Pycharm in my system. So what I'll do is that, imagine we have downloaded and we have entered /pycharm.sh. So from this folder, I'll enter /pycharm.sh, which will open the Pycharm. So once we open, we will be getting like this. So currently I have all these projects in my system. That's what you are seeing, like Odoo 15, 13, all these projects I have. So in your case, you will see an empty section over here. So as we are going to create a new project, click on new project, and I'll name it as Odoo16. And if you need to get in a different location, you can change from here. So here I'll enter Odoo16 and click on create. So we are going to create a new project inside the Pycharm named Odoo16. So we have successfully created a project in my home folder. You can see in Odoo16 folder has been generated with what, a virtual environment. So if we go back to the previous step, if I close this project, on clicking create project, here you can see it will ask, I missed this step, it will ask for which project interpreter you need. So here I'm saying I need to create a new virtual environment. So I'm not going to use any default Python interpreters. I just create a new virtual environment. So you can choose new environment using virtual environment and location and which Python interpreter. So in your case, if you haven't installed Python 3.8 or above, just install Python 3.8 in your system, so it will be available over here. So I'll choose my base interpreter as Python 3.8 and just click on create. So once I done that, we have a project called Odoo16 get created. So if I open the Pycharm again, it's opening Pycharm community, and here we have Odoo16 which we have created now. So this is what we have done. We have just downloaded the Pycharm, created a project called Odoo16. That's done. Now what we have to do, we have to download or clone the Odoo source code. So what I'll do is that here, this is my Odoo16 project, for that is inside this folder I'll keep my Odoo16 source code. So from here I'll right click and I'll enter the command git clone, and I'll clone my Odoo16 source code. Git clone, and I'll specify which branch I need to clone. I need to clone branch 16.0 and I'll give depth 1. I'll put the depth as 1. Click on enter, and this will clone Odoo16 source code to my local folder. So if you check here, you can see a new folder getting created and all the Odoo16 source codes will be cloned to here. So let's wait until the cloning gets completed. So you can see around 72% completed, receiving objects. So if you don't know the git commands, don't worry, you can come here, click on code, download zip. So then you will get a downloaded zip file. Just extract it and paste inside this folder. You can paste inside this folder. Right now I'm using git because daily there will be a new updates coming to Odoo source code. So if I have a git, I can easily enter a git pull and I'll get all the latest codes. That's why I prefer GitHub. So if you are not good with Git, just manually download from that download button. So around 90% completed, and I hope it will be finished in a couple of seconds. And done. You can see an Odoo16 source code has been successfully downloaded. So this is Odoo16 folder we have created, and this is the virtual environment automatically created by Pycharm, and this is the Odoo source code that we have cloned now. And here you can see we have all the add-ons and different folders. Now if I come back to Pycharm, we can see that here also this is Odoo, and here you can see we have got all the add-ons of Odoo starting from account and all the add-ons you can see here. So we have cloned Odoo source code, install Pycharm. So that's done. Now we have to see how we can run Odoo using this Pycharm. So here you can see an indexing is processing. It will get completed in the backend. So meanwhile what we have to do is that we have to create one more folder here to place our configuration files. So under Odoo16, I'll click on new, click on directory and create a new directory called conf. Click on OK. So I have just created a new directory called conf inside this folder Odoo16. A conf folder has been created. So this folder is to place all my configuration file. So as it is an Odoo instance, we will have multiple instances like Odoo community, Odoo enterprise, and based on different projects we will have multiple configuration file for Odoo16, but we will have only one now. So expecting we will have more configuration file, we will be keeping a separate folder. Now what we have to do, go to the Odoo source code. This is Odoo source code. Inside Debian folder you have a file called odoo.conf. Just right click and you have the copy option. I'll click on copy and I'll paste it inside the conf folder which we have created now. So here we have created a new file called odoo.conf, and you can name it as anything like odoo16.conf or maybe your name, something like that you can put. There is no mandatory, you can just put your name. So I'll keep odoo.conf itself, and we have some data here. So I'll come back to here. So we have just created odoo.conf, and what next, let's complete about the configuration file itself, add-ons path. So in add-ons path initially we were having a colon here. So once you have a colon in front of the line, it will be inactive. So to active, just need to remove the colon in front of the line. So currently it will be active, and here we have to specify our path. So currently here we have a default path, but our add-ons is in this path inside Odoo16 Odoo add-ons. You can see this is our add-ons. So I'll right click on that, copy path, and I'll paste it here. So here I'll specify this is my add-ons path, home dev Odoo16 Odoo add-ons. Just from here copy path, that I'll get my absolute path, and I have pasted here. So that is about add-ons path. The next thing is you have to create a Postgres user. So to create a Postgres user, what you have to do is that you have to open your terminal. This is my Ubuntu terminal, and you can switch to Postgres, sudo su Postgres. You can switch to Postgres, and you can enter the command to create a new user. So currently I'm not sure, let me search create Postgres user. I'll just search create Postgres user in Google. We already have done a video, so I think we have in the description section or somewhere I will be adding that code. Yes, here we have the code. So simply I'll copy this code of creating the Postgres user, and this is the terminal which we have opened, and let me run this command, create user create db. You can follow this syntax, and this is the username. I'm putting the username as Odoo16. Click on enter, enter password for new role. I'll put the password as Odoo, enter it again for confirming. So I have successfully created a new Postgres user. Just I have logged into Postgres, sudo su Postgres. I entered my password, and I have just run this command to create a new user, Postgres user, to manage the database, and I have set the password as Odoo. So that's done. Now I'll close this terminal, and I'll come back to Pycharm. So here you can see we have two things that we have to specify, the database user. So we have created a database user called Odoo16. I have specified here, then db password. So my db password is Odoo, that is Odoo16 is the user and its password is Odoo. That's done. Now db port, my Postgres is running on port 5432, which is the default port of Postgres. Then db host, local host. So this is the case as I have already installed Postgres in my machine. So if you haven't installed the Postgres in your machine, just install the latest version of Postgres SQL in your system. So once you install Postgres SQL, create a user in Postgres, copy its username and password, and specify those details inside the configuration file. So that's done. So this is the thing that we have to do inside the configuration file, and the default port of Odoo is 8069. So if we haven't specified, Odoo will take that. So we can simply add HTTP port 8069. I'll put like this. So I have to run Odoo on port 8069 of this machine. So we have done with configuration file. Now what we have to do, we have to go to add configuration, click on that, then you will have a plus button over here, click on that, Python, and name the configuration as Odoo16. Just put the name as Odoo16. Then you have to choose the script path. So script path is Odoo16 Odoo. This is which is the cloned Odoo source codes. Then here we have Odoo bin. Just select that. Okay. So this is the script path, that is path to Odoo bin. Then here we have to specify the path to our configuration file -c. I'll put odoo.conf for now, and Python interpreter, that is I'll choose Python interpreter as Python 3.8, which we have added now, virtual environment, and working directory I'll set as Odoo16 itself. This one I'll set this as my working directory. Okay, and I'll click on OK. So one more thing, you have to copy the absolute path to Odoo configuration file. Copy path, and if you come back to this Odoo16, that is run, you can click on edit configuration. This is the configuration that we have added. It should be -c, give full path, -c full path to configuration file. So that's done. Click on apply. Okay, so we have done with Pycharm. So now let's run. You can see you have a green button here. Just click on that, run Odoo16, and you can see a Python package is missing. So what we have to do, we have to run, or we have to install these Python packages. So if you go to Odoo, you will see a file called requirements.txt, and if you open that, you will see there are some Python libraries required to be installed for the working of Odoo. So we have to make sure that these Python packages are installed in our Python interpreter. So what I'll do is that from the views, tools, windows, Python console, and from here what I'll do is that, so we have some exceptions here. So just what you have to do is that you have to install all the packages. So normally you can like these tools, windows, that is views, tool, windows, and Python console. Connecting to console, let's see what happens. Not sure it's running. You can just run like pip install -r requirements.txt, that is pip install, open your terminal, pip install -r requirement.txt, which will install all the Python packages specified over here. So currently when we run Odoo16, we received an error called pypdf2 does not exist. So I'll go another way, file, settings, and here we have project Odoo16 Python interpreter, and here you can see there is no packages installed as of now. So I'll click on this plus button, search for Python pdf2, click on install package, which will install this Python package in my system. You can see installing, done, it's added here. Click on OK, restart the next package, and you can see there are errors. So what I'll do is that I'll just change my Python version, go to settings, and what I will do, not to settings, I'll go to run, edit configuration, I'll choose this virtual environment which I have created before in 14.0. I just choose a different virtual environment where I have installed all these packages. Click on OK. Now if you run, you can see there is no errors and Odoo is running on 8069. Now I can go to the browser, and here I'll change the URL to 0060 𝐜𝐴8069 where I'm running Odoo 8069. Click on enter, and you can see we are getting the Odoo login screen, and here you can see an auto password is generated, and I'll put the database name as Odoo16. I'll put email as admin, password also admin, and language English, country I'll not choose, demo data I'll initialize. Click on create database. So you can see it says Odoo16 already exists. So let me check. Yep, I have, with different user I have created the database already. So it says I have already a database with Odoo16. I'll put master pass admin password. So here you can see initially we were having a master password here. I didn't copy that, and it automatically get updated here, an encrypted password. So now I'll just delete this encrypted password, and I'll set the master password of my Odoo instance as admin123, and I'll restart. So if you make any change here, you just need to restart the service and come here. So initially it was showing as a master password. Now we have set a password here, Odoo admin123, which we have to use for the creation or deletion or restoring any database. So I'll enter my master password. Database name I'll put Odoo16, and today's date, that is 2109, and the same I'll repeat, admin phone number, language, country, demo data I'll tick, and click on create database, and you can see the database is getting created, and you can monitor the progress here. You can see Odoo16 21.09, the Odoo base module is getting installed, web etc is getting installed. So let's wait a few seconds. You can see the database has been created with name Odoo16 2000, that is 2109, and you can see we have the operations like backup, duplicate, and delete. So to control the taking of backup, we need a master password. The master password is the thing which we are saving as admin password in Odoo configuration file. So for this Odoo instance, the admin password is admin123. So we will log in with the username and password, that is admin. You will not see this button here because this is the debug tool I have installed, etc. So we have successfully created our first database in Odoo16, and you can see all the modules. So what we will do is that I'll click on activate the sales module. So you can see we are installing sales module, and you can see in the log what all things is happening. Mail module is installed, product is getting installed, which is a dependent module of sales team is getting installed, and let's wait loading. You can see all the dependent modules, that is sales module depends on different modules like sales team, product, etc. So all those module has to be installed first before installing the sales application. So you can see the different modules are getting installed. Service, HR, mass mailing, project. I'm not sure, it seems installing all the modules. We will wait and see what happens. Yep, finally the installation is done, and you can see it installs most of the modules. Maybe the source code has some feature because Odoo16 is expected to officially release on the next month, but maybe some code changes will happen. Anyway, the things will be remain as it is. So we have successfully installed sales application, and you can see the things. And if I go to the invoicing, You can see this is Odoo16 invoice. Now if you think, if I stop, you have a stop button here. Stop. I'll click on this and you can see it has been terminated. Now if you refresh, you can see WebSocket connection lost. If you refresh, you will not able to access because we have stopped the Pycharm here. That is, we have killed the running service. Now if I need to restart, I have to click here, and if I refresh, it will work. That is, we are installed Odoo with Pycharm, and this is how we can set up Odoo16 with Pycharm. So what you have to do is that download Pycharm Community Edition, either install from Ubuntu or go to JetBrains website, download the Pycharm Community, extract that folder, go to bin file, run the pycharm.sh, then you will open the Pycharm. In between, just if you know Odoo16 how to clone, manually clone that code or manually download, then make sure that you have installed Postgres SQL. So if you install Postgres SQL, create a database user. I'll copy the command, I'll keep in the video description section for creating the Postgres user. Create a user, then come to the Pycharm, create a folder called conf. Inside that, odoo.configuration file, set your master password, port number, set your add-ons path, database credentials you have to set here. Then from run, edit configuration, you have to create a Python file. Script path is the path to Odoo bin, parameters -c, path to Odoo configuration file, and you have to set the Python interpreter. So if you are using a default Python version, you can set it here, or if you are running from virtual environment, you can select it here. And the thing you may get confused is the installing of these requirements, the Python versions. So you can just run it using pip install, specify the Python version, pip install -r requirement.txt, or you can also manually install one by one from settings, project interpreter, click on plus button, search for your Python package, click on install. That's how you can also install. And in Odoo configuration file, we have specified the port as 8069. That's why we are getting on 8069. So if I change the port to 8070 or 8080, and if I click on run, you can see something is already running on 8080. So let me change to 806868, run, and you can see running on 8068. Now if you refresh this one, you will not get, because Odoo is not running on 8069, it is on 8068. Click on it and you will access the Odoo. So I hope you understood how to install and configure Odoo16 with Pycharm. So if you have any doubts, feel free to ask us, and we are ready to provide you support at any time. Feel free to communicate us in email. Also, we have a WhatsApp group where all the Odoo developers are ready to help you. So if you like to join, just send us your WhatsApp number or request you to add in your group. Just drop an email to odoomates@gmail.com. And if you like the video, please do click the like button and support us by sharing the video with your Odoo friends and colleagues. And hope we can soon release the Odoo16 development tutorials in upcoming days. So that's it for the day. Have a nice day. Thank you.